Hello everyone, this is Swatiyadav from PGP batch 2527, and today I'll be discussing a very important structural problem in the Indian economy, which is India's manufacturing paradox, which is also known as the missing middle. And this presentation will explore how past economic policies created this issue and what India can do to solve this. Now, India's industrial structure is very highly imbalanced. On one side, we have millions of very small informal firms. On the other side, we have a very few large corporations. But what's missing are medium-sized labor-intensive firms, which are crucial for job creation. As a result, 93% of the workers they are stuck in this unorganized sector, and manufacturing contributes only about 13% to GDP. Now, this leads to jobless growth and overdependence on services. Uh, so, to understand this problem, we need to look at India's economic history. So, we can see in phase one, India experienced decent growth with relatively liberal policies. But as we can see in phase two, the economy became very highly controlled with very strict regulations, limited competition, and heavy government intervention. This shift caused growth to slow down and created a long term structural issue. Then we can see the different root causes. The first biggest reason for the missing middle was the small scale industry reservation policy. Now, the idea was to protect the small firms firms and generate employment. But in reality, what happened is it prevented firms from growing. Even successful firms could not expand beyond a certain size. As a result, India missed global opportunities in various sectors like textile, like footwear and toys, where countries like China succeeded in these particular sectors. Now, another major issue was rigid labor laws. After the Industrial Dispute Act amendments, firms needed government permission to lay off workers. Even if they had just 100 employees, they would need the permission. This discouraged firms from scaling up. Instead, businesses stayed very small and they shifted to capital intensive sectors. Now, in the 1980s, there was a turning point, which was phase three. India began partial reforms. Some restrictions were relaxed, licensing was reduced, for example, imports became easier, and firms gained more flexibility. Even these small reforms, they had a very big impact. Industrial growth increased very significantly in this particular time. This shows that reducing control can directly improve the economic performance. Now, next, there to solve this particular problem, there are three key reforms that would be needed. First is the labor market flexibility, so firms can scale without any fear. Second is the production linked incentives (PLI) in sectors like textile and footwear. And third is better infrastructure in industrial clusters to reduce costs and to improve competitiveness. Now, these three steps can help India create millions of jobs. Next, now these reforms they need to be implemented in phases. There are three phases: short term, medium term, and long term phase. In the short term phase, policies like labor codes and MSME simplification can be introduced. In the medium, infrastructure and industrial zones can be developed. In the long term, India can integrate into global supply chains and significantly increase manufacturing employment. Next, now there can be some barriers since the implementation is not easy. There can be political resistance. There can be, especially from labor unions. There are coordination issues between central and state government. Now these barriers they can slow down the reforms. Now this slide shows how India has evolved. Earlier, the firms were restricted in size and they were heavily controlled. Today, some reforms have been introduced, but challenges remain the same. The goal is to move towards a more flexible, global competitive, and export driven manufacturing system. Now, to conclude India's missing middle, it's not an accident. It is a result of past policies where early policies focused on equity and control. They unintentionally restricted the growth. However, the solution is clear. With the right reforms, India can unlock its manufacturing potential and can create a very large scale employment. Uh, Thank you.